Coming up this week on the OK Bloomer podcast.
You can stop refreshing your browser now. Here's a new episode. I was wondering if we were going to get an episode about the very real dangers of date rape and sexual assault, but I feel like we're just going to get Weekend at Bernie's.
That's exactly what we got. It was all worth it for the payoff of the joke where Six goes, I hope we didn't let her down too fast. And Blossom goes, with Allison Sparks, there's no such thing as too fast. I was like, oh, sick burn.
Yeah! And somehow she was in Catwoman 2004, which tracks because she can't act either.
Right?
Don't know about the future. Don't.
They don't care about the future, because they live it in the past. Sal and Curtis are taking all 5 seasons of Blossom to task. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll be weak in the knees. This show's got more range than this on the keys. Only gal in the house, and that's how she goes. One brother was a junkie, and the other one was. Weekly lessons coming fast in the Russo flat. Blossom's teenage girl problems are as big as her hat. So take your opinionations and make them shine. It's the OK Bloomer podcast, and it's about damn time.
Don't know.
Oh.
Don't know.
All right, man. So what's going on?
It has been a while, my friend.
It has been a minute. Like life has gotten crazy this year, and that's not an excuse, but it's kind of an excuse.
It's a valid excuse. You got a new job. We worked opposite hours for so long, but we made it down there. I mean, I made it down there for the wedding, and we did 3 episodes.
Came to my wedding. That was the last time we recorded. This was in person. Yeah.
It's been a good year.
Yes,
and then
COVID
it's not on you,
ran
man.
through our house, so there's been that, and
this summer's been too busy to record on my end as well. So it's not just you. Like I don't even know when I would have done this in July and August.
Fair enough. All right, now I don't feel so bad.
No, not at all.
I'll take it. But it's good to be back, man. This is like much needed.
I know it felt good watching this episode today. It took me a while to remember Blossom and the rhythm of it.
Yeah.
Right? Did you find that?
A little bit.
It took me a while to get into this episode.
I will admit it was nice to have a break from Blossom. As soon as
we have an uphill battle.
This episode. I know.
Maybe we'll expand. Maybe we'll have to take that break from Blossom once every like 3rd or 4th episode or something and do something else. Expand our horizons, build that already skyrocketing listenership.
Right. For those who may be listening or maybe care, there's been discussions about something, so there might be a change to the format.
Instead of recording shows,
how's that for a
we
tea,
spent
Curtis?
The summer talking about recording shows.
Yeah.
Right? The most
for us.
We're never recorded. Good stuff, man. It took me a while to remember the rhythm of Blossom and like the little nuances, and I had my head in my hands for like the opening sequence of it. But I guess we could what do we do? We talk about the how do we start this thing?
Well, we'll start with the title, I guess. We're on season 2, episode 19, which is crazy. We're actually pretty deep into season 2 now. I mean, I don't know if the show gets any better, but here's hoping. This one's called Wake Up Little Suzy, and it first aired on February 24th, 1992. And now we go through synopses.
Let's do it. I'm getting back into the rhythm of the podcast as well, not just watching Blossom. Right? I almost forgot about these intros and the synopses.
These synopses are forgettable, if that helps anything, because Disney Plus knocks it out of the park again. With no explanation to who the character is, it says Anthony tends to Hillary's sprained ankle.
They clearly watched the first 3 minutes and called it a day.
Yeah.
Okay.
First 3 minutes, the first 10 seconds.
Yeah.
They're just like, good enough. They don't even know if that's the character's name. They're just like, it's Hillary from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
The good enough attitude seeps its way through the show and our podcast as well, so I can't even blame him for that.
The TV database says a girl from school uses Blossom as a cover for dating boys.
Yeah. All right.
Better.
IMDb comes out swinging and says Blossom and Six's slumber party is made more lively when a notorious party girl attends. However, they soon learn that she is just using the party as a cover so that she can go out drinking with a guy she had just met. The tenses are all over the place in those 2 sentences.
She is notorious.
It's 43, 44, or 45 people watching every single episode that have rated it. So it's the same, like 45 people, but sometimes that one or two people are just like, nope, not doing it.
Yeah, I'm skipping over this one.
I'm
I hated
skipping-
this one so much, I'm not rating it.
I'm skipping over Wake Up Little Suzy, which, by the way, do you know like what Wake Up Little Suzy is, what that's a reference to?
Well, it's a song, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an old like 50s song about a guy and a girl who are on a date and they're watching a movie and they fall asleep and they wake up the next morning and they're like, oh no, everyone thinks, well, everyone's going to think something went on when really we just fell asleep.
Hell yeah, they will.
Right?
Woo.
So that's that's what I was expecting to happen in this episode. Spoiler, it does not.
Yeah, but the other confusing thing was one of the girls at the slumber party was named Susie.
I didn't even think of that. That
And
is true.
It had nothing to do with her.
They're just pulling names out of a hat at this
Yeah.
point for their
Yeah.
season 2. Okay.
Let's
Yeah.
do a cold open, Curtis.
I hated this cold open, and I don't know if it was just because I haven't watched Blossom in probably 3-4 months,
Right.
but I was like, why are we stroking the Fresh Prince characters without even going all in? Like, I was like, is this a crossover? Is this,
Well,
you know what
that's
I mean?
That's what was very confusing about it. So
Okay, good. It wasn't just me.
Yeah,
We start,
so-
and Anthony is tending to Hillary Banks's ankle in the back of an ambulance.
yes, but in this scene, they never say her name.
No.
So you don't know if it's just the same actress, but she's kind of playing the same character.
She's definitely the same character as Hillary Banks, but he's not calling her Hillary, and she's being Hillary. And I know, I was like,
very confusing.
are
But
they
then-
referencing Fresh Prince, or are they not referencing Fresh Prince, or is
then
this like
in
a
this
wink at the Fresh
universe-
Prince?
Yeah, but in this universe, Will Smith was in an episode in this season
As Will Smith,
as Will Smith. So
the actor from Fresh Prince of Bel. I know.
so nothing about this makes sense.
And it's just so like, I don't know. I don't know if that character hasn't aged well, but she's like, is it broken? And Anthony's, no, it's just like sprained. And she goes, no, I was talking about my expensive shoe. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh,
And then
I want
her,
to quit this
her
already.
ankle's all swollen and she wonders if she'll need ankle liposuction.
Yeah, and it's like, why are they giving Hillary the shine in this scene? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It-
it was odd, man. It was an
It just
odd
played out
placement.
weird because it didn't. Anthony just stood there and took her ill will. I was like,
But
why
then
are
it
we
was-
putting over Hillary and Fresh Prince of Bel Air without even mentioning she's Hillary? It's just this random character being
Yeah.
mean to Anthony.
And it's almost like it's like we're just expected to be like, oh yeah, this is normal. There was like nothing that opened that up at all or like
Mhm.
introduced us to Hillary. It was just like the show started like zooming out of like a close up of her face.
Are you right?
Yeah, and you're just like, what the hell show am I watching?
Like, it just needed like an opening line of Anthony being like, "Oh, I didn't think I was gonna get a call out to Bel Air tonight,"
Yeah, right.
but
Something
it's just no.
as cheesy as is that.
It's just Hillary being mean to him without anybody mentioning if it's actually Hillary or not.
Yeah,
Anyway.
she's being mean, but she's also kind of being flirty with him.
She asks if Armani makes crutches.
Yeah.
Then she asks if he's a bachelor because she needs a bachelor for her bachelor auction because Andre Agassi backed out of his inclusive tennis package, and then Doogie Howser was grounded. So once again, in this universe, Andre Agassi is like a real person, and Doogie Howser, the character from TV, is not Neil Patrick Harris.
No,
he's
he's
Doogie Howser.
which is existing in the same universe as Blossom, which also exists in the same universe as Fresh Prince of Bel Air, apparently. This is what we're expected to believe in the first 30 seconds of this episode.
I'm just getting a nosebleed and I'm getting annoyed.
Yeah.
And also
That's-
take that, Doogie Howser.
Well, after she had mentioned Doogie Howser, this is where I ask, what is this universe?
Mm-hmm.
What is happening here? So, yeah, she needs a bachelor for this charity that she's doing, and then Tony asks what charity it is, and Hillary says, who cares? It's at the Beverly Hilton. And that's the end of the cold open.
Well, if you can't get Andre Agassi, a former junkie EMT is like,
Yeah.
number 2 on the
Number two,
list.
right?
Yeah, I hated that cold open. Like,
Yeah.
I really couldn't remember what the deal with this show was after that. Like, I just was so lost of, like, is it me? Is this how the show always is? I couldn't really remember of how
I
they.
feel like
But that's
it's-
not at all how they used the like special guests in the past.
Yeah.
They kind of
yeah,
had a
it was-
purpose.
Yeah.
They
It
went
was
out of their
odd.
way to point out that they were playing themselves, and it kind of like enhanced the Blossom characters. I felt like a lot of times they would kind of advance the Blossom characters at the expense of the other characters. You know, like when we had that huge episode, like the kid from Married with Children was kind of a jerk, and like they were dunking on Neil Patrick Harris, and you know, it was like a Blossom show with these supporting characters. Where this was like an episode of Fresh Prince of Bel Air, the cold open, right? With like Anthony guest starring on it.
Yeah, it was weird, man. It was weird all over.
Didn't like it. Thumbs down.
No, I agree.
Big thumbs down. So off to kind of stumbling over the starting line this week, right?
Take us to the intro, Curtis.
It asks if I want to skip the intro, and I don't, because I want to skip the whole damn episode. But to be honest, I've missed this song.
Yeah.
And I remember the first few episodes before we had Chillin' Evans rap our new intro, when it was just me kicking the shit out of my son's old drum kit over the intro played on piano.
Amazing.
So I'm already kind of nostalgic for the first few episodes.
Awesome.
Too Many Cooks Night Shot.
Yes.
They're in the kitchen. And Joey is in a suit stealing brownies.
Yeah, he's in a suit that's 2 sizes too big for him.
Yeah.
Blossom and Six are getting snacks together, and Joey has a giant plate of brownies. It's like a pyramid of brownies.
Oh, okay. They're getting snacks together. See, I thought they were cooking dinner. I was like, they're cooking dinner at like 10 p.m.
No,
but yeah, okay, that makes sense. They're getting snacks.
Like popcorn and chips in the bowls and stuff, and then they're talking about how a bunch of girls bailed on their slumber party. One had cramps. Another was a set of twins. One was
Joanne had cramps.
Yes.
Yes.
One of the twins was sick, and the other one was trying to bang her twin's boyfriend. And then Six wishes that she had a twin.
That makes no sense.
Yeah.
Like that joke, I don't get it at all. So yeah,
It fell flat.
Joanne called, and she's not coming because she has cramps. And now the Goldstein twins aren't coming either. And I pressed pause and leaned forward. I was like, give it to me. But then I was like, oh no, wait, that's Weinstein, not Goldstein. I thought there was going to be some sort of like joiner there, but no. Weinstein was the pervert. So Goldstein Shelley had the flu, and Goldstein Shelley is moving in, or Kelly is moving in on Shelley's boyfriend because he won't know the difference. And yeah, Six gets bedroom eyes and says, I wish I had a twin. And guess what, Jenna Von Oy, in my diary, you do.
Oh, Jesus.
But for real, I didn't get that joke because she's like, I wish I had a twin. It was like, so when she got sick, you could make a move on her boyfriend.
I think that's what the joke was, but it's
shoot for those stars, Six. Shoot for those stars.
They're trying to make Six thirsty, and it's just they try too hard with that one. Swing and miss.
It's a running theme in this episode.
Yeah, oh, big time.
So that leaves him with just Trisha and Susan.
Yeah, and there's Wake Up Little Suzy.
And then they cut to a shot of that girl from season 1 that Blossom hung out with for one episode when she and Six had a fight. I can't remember her name. Was it Beans? Cuts to Beans sitting at home looking at her phone, wondering when her and Blossom were going to go to another concert together. But no phone call for her.
I mean, if it wasn't Beans, it's Beans now.
I don't know her name.
Yeah,
Beans is a great name.
Beans right out of the can. That was her, right?
That's all I remember.
They went Gorby? You're talking about Gorby.
Yes. Oh my God, it was Gorby.
Yeah.
Not Beans. What's a worse nickname, Beans or Gorby? If you had to be one for the rest of your life, would you be Beans or Gorby?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'd have to go with Gorby. Beans is just not appealing at all.
Isn't Bret Hart's hot daughter Beans for real?
Yeah, Beans Hart, man.
No. Oh, okay, well, that went to a weird place already.
It sure did. Welcome back, everyone.
Yeah.
So
you can stop refreshing your browser now. Here's a new episode. There's Six hopes they don't bring their Barbies.
Yeah, they're too old for that.
I guess. There is no consistency in this episode at all yet.
No. They invited a cool 18-year-old girl, Allison Sparks. Joey seems super down with her.
Yeah, Joey's sudden erection propels him off the chair into his feet.
Yeah. It just
like literally
right onto the tips of his toes.
He had no idea what was happening. Suddenly he was standing up. She's almost 18.
But they don't expect her to show up.
No.
Knock at the door. 2 girls show up, and they're super fucking down with Joey.
But Nick walks in just to answer the back door.
Yeah, that's his only contribution to the scene. You know what was funny about that, though? Because I took note of this, was the episode, the director credit came up right as Nick walked onto the screen. And it was directed by Ted Wass, who is Nick Russo.
Really?
Yeah, he was the director. He's actually gone on to be like a longtime sitcom director, and I don't know if this was like the beginning of that.
Wow. Cool. Good for him. I did notice that the Wink wasn't here this week.
Really?
Yeah, there was no Roxy.
Damn.
Because they didn't have full opening credits, did they?
I think they did.
Did they? Okay, maybe she was then, because they ran through the credits at the end. I was looking for him, and I didn't see him at the beginning.
Weird.
Unless but I could be way out to lunch. I was still angry from the Hillary thing, so I was taking notes and like, the dread was setting in for this episode where I was like, we are starting 10 points below zero. So
Yeah.
maybe Roxy Wank Evans was back. She wasn't in the closing credits though.
We'll sort it out next week.
They're
so-
drooling over Joey, and
Yeah.
Nick says he has to go make himself beautiful, and Six is melting and goes, "That shouldn't take too long, Mr. Russo." And he replies, "Good Eddie Haskell impression." Did you track that?
I guess. I know
Did
it's
you like-
Leave It to Beaver, but
Oh, did you? I had no idea. I looked him up.
Oh,
So
really?
Eddie was
He
known
was the
for
neighbor,
his.
was
I have no idea.
Holy
The
crap.
only thing I know about Leave It to Beaver is that my parents have a Hallmark ornament on their Christmas tree each year that you press a button and it goes, "Leave It to Beaver." It plays like the first 6 seconds of the intro and has the most awkward like cut off in the middle of the melody. Right?
So
That's
they're
all
the
I know
ones that
about Leave
bought
It to
that
Beaver.
ornament.
Yeah. And one of the former headbangers on WWF became Beaver Cleavage, which was super funny.
That's right.
Remember that? Yeah.
I do.
Anyway,
I
so
remember that
Eddie
for sure.
was known for his neat grooming, hiding his shallow and sneaky character. Typically, Eddie would greet his friends' parents with overdone good manners and often a compliment such as, "That's a lovely dress you're wearing, Mrs. Cleaver." However, when no parents were around, Eddie was always up to no good, either convincing, what is it? I don't know what this word is. I don't know. He's picking on Wally's younger brother, Beaver, whom he regularly called Squirt. I wrote also these ladies need to chill. Like, for real.
Yeah.
These new girls realize Joey's leaving on a date and won't be there tonight, and they get mad at Blossom for not letting them know that he won't be there. Poor
Yeah.
Blossom.
They were like, why didn't you write it on the invitation? It was really
To be
dumb.
fair, though, Joey's mullet is on par this week.
Oh my God, so good.
And I wasn't going to track it, but he mentions again that he has a date with Coach Crawford's daughter. And I realized this episode is called Wake Up Little Suzy. So I know at the time I thought I knew where this was heading. So I'm making note that he's going to go out with Coach Crawford's daughter. And I figured they were going to fall asleep and wake up and be in trouble. That is not what happens. I also only know that song from, do you know what Jive Bunny and the Master Mixers are?
No.
Man, it's like original girl talk. Somebody did it
Seriously.
back in like the 80s with a bunch of like 50s and 60s songs. Yeah, like look it up
Oh,
on
cool.
YouTube. It's super fun.
I'm into that.
Yeah, it's not as good as girl talk, but neither is like
Very,
Oxygen.
very few
so-
things are.
Right?
Yeah.
The list would be very small.
Well, that's actually brilliant and giving them a lot of credit if that was the name of the episode and that was Joey's storyline.
Yeah,
But
no.
Alas, it was not.
Hillary probably just started throwing her weight around and was like, "No, you can't call it this. You got to call it this. This is a great name." And they're like, all right, a real actress. We'll do what you want." She probably was like, didn't get the song and was like, "You should call it Wake Up Little Suzy," like the song about getting stuck in the mud. And they're like, yeah, whatever you say. I don't even know her name. What's her real name? Hold on.
Karen Parsons.
Karen Parsons, yeah. I thought she was the one that got fired, but no, it was Aunt
Mom.
Liv that got fired.
Yeah, as the first Aunt Liv.
Yeah. As it is,
Aunt
as
Viv.
it goes.
Aunt
Aunt Viv. People are screaming into their phone right now. How many things I just got wrong about Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
Right?
This ain't a Fresh Prince show, although we do talk about it probably almost as much as we talk about Blossom. I feel like Fresh Prince has come up on this show.
Well, it's hard not to talk about it when like episodes revolve around them, around
That's
the
a good point.
characters. Oh, I hope we get a James Avery cameo. That would
Oh
make it
my
all
God,
worth
James
it, right?
Avery is the best.
Shredder, come on.
Dude, I'm going through the TMNT cartoon with my son right now. I love
No,
it.
it's Uncle Phil. All right, there's a knock at the door, and it's 18-year-old Allison, and it's definitely the girl from Just the 10 of Us. She's mean
Right.
to everyone, and Joey has a great line. He goes, "You know, if it's too crowded in Blossom's room, my room is just across the hall."
It's so good. And she's basically just like, who gives a
She goes, "Who cares?" Which is
Yeah.
like, I don't know. Once again, Joey is just out acting everyone in this room.
yeah.
You
I
know,
thought
like
that
for
was
real.
great. I thought that was a great line. So they're upstairs now playing sleepover games in Blossom's room. Allison goes around asking how many guys they've each dated. They all clearly lie. Allison confirms that she's a whore. And it turns out that she's using the sleepover as her cover story. She's going to meet some random dude on the street corner to go to a party.
When she asks Blossom how many guys she's dated, which you know what they're really asking, but they're not going to because it's like PG show, right?
Yeah.
And Blossom's acting there is amazing because she's like, she's pretending to think and count. Then she comes up with 10.
10.
And Six is like, "Are you kidding?"
Yeah.
And then they ask 6 and she panics and also says 10.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty good.
And she's like, I pick up Blossom's sloppy seconds.
Right? She's like, Blossom drops him off and I pick him up. It's like a recycling deal. I said that's really funny and like an early version of the Dennis system.
Right? So yeah.
They asked Trisha how many guys she's dated, and she goes, I've been to McDonald's with Bobby Maxwell 3 times in the last month. And like, boom, mic drop. And then Blossom goes, he works there, Trisha, which I thought was really good. I said, I'm starting to get back into the rhythm of the show right around this point. Yeah. And the last girl went on 2 dates with her cousin Carl.
Yeah.
And then when they ask Susan who she's dated, she goes, you know, all the guys in the chess club, and they'll kind of like lean forward because that's like their circle of dudes. And they're like, yeah. And she goes, everyone but them. I went, hell yeah. But no, they ask Allison, not Susan. Right. And I was like, yes, it's the OK Bloomer podcast. We're back.
We're
Susan,
back, baby.
Susan throwing shade across the entire room. Love it.
Allison.
Okay.
So yeah, then it turns out that Allison's using the sleepover as a cover story. She's going to meet some random dude. And then Blossom's like, "Ooh, what are we supposed to tell your parents if they call?" And she goes, "Tell them I'm in bed. It might be the truth."
Amazing. She's like, some random dude I don't even know is waiting for me on the corner down the street. And I said, this is actually what I like about the show, because like it's a coin flip now. Is this gonna lead to like funny situations, or is it gonna be super dark? You know, like it literally could be either. What's gonna happen to the Allison character?
Or it could be date rape. We don't know.
Right? We get a new exterior in Coach Crawford's house.
Yeah, and the interior of the house is the Boy Meets World house.
Is it?
It looks like it.
It looked like they added some more furniture to the Russo living room, to be honest. They just got to move some stuff around. So is that Joey or is that the lead singer of damn it, I lost it. Lead singer of
What, Talking Heads?
Thank you. Oh man, I blew
He's
that.
in a giant oversized suit.
Right?
Yeah.
And he's on a road to nowhere. Which is literally one of the greatest songs ever written.
Oh my god, so good.
So good. And the coach looks like Phil Hartman.
Yeah, he kind
But
of
it's
does.
not
He
Phil
looks
Hartman.
familiar.
And he
And
well,
he
the
talks
thing
like
is,
Columbo.
well, he starts threatening Joey. So, do you like your knees? Funny thing about knees is they only bend one way. And then I figured out who he sounds like. He sounds like the guy from the opening of the Smash album by Offspring. And of course, this compact disc playing on your stereo system. So go on, indulge yourself. Music soothes even the savage beast.
Maybe it is the same guy. Did you look
Could
that
be.
up?
I didn't look, but that would be amazing if that was the Offspring intro guy.
Be quite the catch.
It would be, right?
It would be quite the catch. Yeah, so
I would, if I was him, I'd be like, I'll do this episode, but I want whatever Hillary Banks is making plus 1 cent.
just to stick it to her.
Right?
Yeah.
Like so many others have. He will only let his daughter go to dates on 2 locations, the airport or bowling.
Yeah. He says Joey's an airport guy. He says it's well lit, there's lots of security, and it's informative.
But as proof, I love this joke. Joey needs to bring back one of those Hare Krishna pamphlets.
Yeah.
That would not be it. That's not a 2022 joke.
No.
No.
Not at all.
I said this was also a world before cell phones, and to further the 1992 of it all, he makes Joey wear a beeper.
Yep.
And then he's like, "May bring my daughter back by midnight." Oh, okay.
Yeah. Not 12:01, not 12:02. And like how quickly Joey like attaches the pager to his pants was really funny.
Yeah.
Joey in this role itself is hilarious.
He's once again the star of the show. Like there's no
I wasn't a big fan of Coach Crawford and his whole shtick and his
nah.
But
Once again, Joey is
playing off of him was killer. So yeah, back at the Russo house, it's Tony's date with, quote, that Hillary girl from Bel Air.
like they finally connect those dots, but it's a little too late.
And the crowd doesn't react at all because no one gives a
Right?
Yeah.
Her character was may have been the hardest miss of any guest star we've ever had.
It's pretty bad.
I guess she's an odd character to be in the Blossom universe because they're so poor, and her shtick is like pampered and
rich and
rich
spoiled,
and yeah.
Then there's this whole shtick of she bid $25 on him at the bachelor auction, and Nick thinks it's more. And then Tony's just like, yeah, it wasn't. See ya. And he's taking her out in the ambulance. He's wearing his uniform and everything, and Nick's all confused. And it was just real quick. It was like a quick explanation, and Tony was out.
I Googled Fresh Prince episodes to see if there was one that lined up with like Hillary throwing a bachelor.
Ah.
And
I didn't even think
I
about that.
could you imagine if they actually had an episode from the other side where she had a bachelor auction and was like, oh, I got this EMT guy at the last minute. It was Anthony. And he had like 2 lines
That'd be
and he only
great.
went for $25, but no, of course not. I put all the keywords of like Fresh Prince, Hillary, bachelor auction, and the only thing that came up was an episode called Will Steps Out that had nothing to do with bachelor auctions, Hillary, or EMTs. And nothing. There's no similar words or anything in the synopsis. So
All right.
thanks, Google. You're really earning your keep today. Yeah,
Really
but she won the
screwed us, right?
auction. She won him. So that's what happened. Like she bid the $25 on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right.
Nick was all excited because he thought it was more, and then Tony
Mhm.
was just like, it wasn't, and then he leaves. And then right as he's leaving, Buzz is at the door.
I have to
and-
be honest, I had forgotten about Buzz.
Me too.
And then I was immediately annoyed, and then I was like, no, wait a minute. He was kind of cool towards the end, wasn't he? He was starting to win us over.
Yeah, but this episode, I just felt creepy for him watching it. So,
we'll
Nick-
get there.
Nick's coming into Buzz is coming into babysit during
Yeah.
a teenage girl sleepover while
Yeah.
Nick leaves the house. That's
Nick has to
very
leave-
irresponsible of Nick.
Nick has to leave, so he chooses Buzz to chaperone a house full of horny teenage girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Has bad idea written all over it.
So Nick and Buzz are bantering with the front door open, and we see Allison's legs start
Yeah, well,
to
the scene,
dangle.
the scene
as
cuts
they're-
to upstairs, and the girls all have sheets tied together to like lower Allison out the window. And then, yeah,
I don't know
Nick-
why, but I found this really funny. I think in like I'm watching this trying to process hanging girl legs from the doorway that only Buzz sees in like the 1992 filter of like what possibly is going to be the joke here. So
Yeah,
I was
totally.
excited about that, but I found that pretty funny.
Except like Buzz was in full view of the legs, and he didn't say or do anything about it.
Yeah, there was no payoff because they pulled her back up so she's not busted, and then the wheels start to come off a bit.
I thought this part was great.
Did really?
Yeah, where they dropped her out the window after that.
Well, she's like, okay, let me down, you idiots. And
Yeah.
Six goes, okay, you heard her, let her down. And they all just let go of the sheets. And
Yeah, and
Allison
then they
falls
drop
2
her.
stories and shatters her ankles.
Who gives a it was
I
all
guess.
it was all worth it for the payoff of the joke where
I guess.
Six goes, I hope we didn't let her down too fast. And
Her-
Blossom goes, with Allison Sparks, there's no such thing as too fast. I was like, oh, sick burn.
Yeah, suck it, Allison.
Oh, that was so good.
Turns out those hornies can take the impact. Yeah, that was pretty funny. They're all just like throwing shade at her from the window.
Yeah.
I wrote, this humor would be frowned upon in 2022. If in today's world, this episode would be all about how Allison should be able to explore her sexuality without attached stigmas.
Really? I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I took it for face value.
Oh, I'm
They were
I-
slut shaming her.
100%.
Yeah, I guess that would be a thing.
That would not be a thing. There would not be a laugh track.
No, for slut shaming, you're right.
Nah.
God damn the world these days.
We get Too Many Cooks, the Crystal Lake edition out of this.
Right?
I was pretty excited about that.
Joey and his date are at makeout point. It was actually like the roles were kind of reversed here, but I like how it was like Joey was freaked out looking at his watch, and this girl was like super horny.
It made me wonder though, like Joey, he's kind of all talk though. Has there been another scenario? I'm trying to think back where he was like an actual aggressor. He always seems to like talk and act right up to the line, and then he kind of like gets cold feet. Or am I remembering it
true.
wrong?
But I think that's probably what makes the character sympathetic, right?
Yeah,
If
for
it was just
sure.
like if it was just like he talked
was
like
a
that
predator.
and was like a legit predator, like it
Yeah.
wouldn't be okay. And it's actually kind of weird that in 1992 they were okay with that.
Yeah.
You know, that they actually had the thinking of like, no, we can't make him like an
No, it's good. It's good. Joey is killing it this episode again. He's just again, heads and tails above everyone else as an
Right?
actor.
Yeah, but so this date doesn't care about her dad and just wants to get it on with Joey, and he's all worried about it and freaked out, which is
And
funny.
he's like, oh, I forgot the Hare Krishna pamphlet. And then she
Yeah.
pulls out a pile of them because she keeps them in
Yes.
her purse for situations like this. And she also has a whole bunch of bowling score sheets in her purse as well, because that's the other place her dad will allow her to go
Right.
on dates.
So
Because
she's done this a lot.
she's apparently just as promiscuous as Allison, but it's okay with this character.
Right? Yeah.
Which-
Totally.
So she wants to make out just 5 more minutes as I crack another one. He says no, but then when he goes to leave, the car is stuck in the mud. So
Yeah.
wake up, little Suzy. Am I right?
Oh, that's what it means.
It's
Yeah.
nothing.
So she basically just
nothing to do with the song.
She basically just pulls him down on top of her, and they start going at it in the car.
Yeah, that's not gonna get it out of the mud. It's gonna make it deeper
God.
in the mud.
I get it.
Yeah. Okay. So we go back to. Oh, this is good. You might want to sit down for this one, Sal.
Oh, this was a bad scene.
No,
bad
you ready
scene,
for
man.
this? I'm pretty proud of this. Let me have it, okay?
Go for
So
it.
back at the slumber party, the gals are rocking out to the Dirty Dancing soundtrack, and then I realize no, Buzz is playing the piano while a room full of teenage girls dance for him.
Yep.
Then they stop dancing and they ask if he wants to watch Silence of the Lambs, but he says no, it's too scary, and he has to go upstairs for quote a rest. But in reality, he's going from playing the contours from the Dirty Dancing soundtrack to playing Michael Hutchence from In Excess.
Explain.
Michael Hutchence accidentally killed himself while he was doing what is it, autoerotic asphyxiation.
Oh, he did the David Carradine?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, damn. Well, my notes on this was when they invited Buzz to watch Silence of the Lambs with him, he said he's going upstairs because there's underwear to be sniffed.
We're both right.
Right?
Oh my God.
So the girls start watching the movie on the couch. Cuts to later on, and they're all
there's a
huddled up and
passage of
scared.
time.
Yeah. There's a knock at the door, and they all freak out. I thought Six's acting was really cheesy.
It was bad today. It was bad.
She's like, it might be Hannibal Lecter at the door.
I don't know what. Yeah, I made a comment to that later. I have no idea what's up with Jenna Von Oy this episode. She's given up. She's given up.
They weren't giving her much this episode, and
I think she was like, okay, we've got like 4 other girls in this episode now. Like, yeah, she was trying to make it bad and succeed.
So the knock at the door is Allison. She's back, and she is faced, and she falls to the ground.
She is drunk as a skunk.
Oh yeah.
And so there's a passed out 18-year-old blonde face down on the living room floor. So we come back from commercial break with Buzz throwing himself down the stairs. He cannot get down there quick enough.
Dude, the sound
Blossom, look out!
The sound he makes when he sees her on the couch, he's just like, ah. It's as if he's dealt with passed out teenage girls plenty of times in his life.
I didn't know an erection made noise, but that's the sound it makes. So he pets her on the head creepily, and he goes, she's not dead, she's just bombed. So he does that, nah, not interested, and leaves.
Pretty much. He's basically, they're just like, what do we do? They're like, just let her sleep it off and don't let Nick find out.
Yeah. What should we do? He's like, I don't know. You gals go upstairs and leave her on the couch to sleep it off. Don't worry about old Buzz. I'll take care of her.
Just then, Nick's at the door. So they cover Allison up and they all pretend that they fell asleep on
this
the couch.
This is the moment where I said, okay, I was wondering if we were going to get an episode about the very real dangers of date rape and sexual assault, but I feel like we're just going to get Weekend at Bernie's.
That's exactly what we got.
That's exactly what we got.
It was such a stupid gag of Nick like leaving the room and then coming back and be like, oh, do you guys want this? And they're like a little bit further up the stairs each time.
Yeah.
And Jenna Von Oy is overacting like crazy here.
Weekend at Bernie's is in full effect, and they prop her up, and they keep getting interrupted. And they're trying to get her up the stairs.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
Yeah. But they get away with it. The girls get away with it, and they get her up the stairs.
It was a very weird, like, it seemed like they were halfway through the gag when it just ended. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like he checked on them twice, and they had just got her to the bottom of the stairs, and then just suddenly it ended. I was like, oh, yeah, so I don't know, they didn't get her up the stairs, they didn't get busted. It was like they needed like one more, you know?
I had had enough of it by that
Well,
point.
me too, but that was just because it ended. I was like, they needed like a payoff. They needed like a third one that was like really dumb that Russo fell for. It
Eh.
was just bad. And speaking of bad, we go to Too Many Cooks, the moving ambulance edition.
Yeah,
Like the budget is gone on this episode.
totally. So Hillary is having a horrible time with Tony on their. Is it a date? I don't know. Like what is this?
She's I
like,
don't know, but she's referencing her dad, and this is so bizarre.
Yeah, she doesn't mention him by name, but she says she's talking about her dad and how he told her to date Tony out of pity.
Yeah.
And then Tony seems really upset, and I put because Hillary is Hundo P his type.
She's bored and embarrassed driving around in an ambulance.
Yeah.
And he's like, we can go park it and go for a walk. And she says, well, we could have if you'd done a better job on my ankle, which I didn't see coming, and that really made me laugh. So props for that line.
That was a good callback.
And then, like you and I, Sal, they bond over their love of Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Right?
But only instead of the actual movie. I remember that was like one of the first things he showed me on the internet was that guy's
Oh man, I
of-
always think about that song every time
Right?
I hear about.
Anytime I
the
hear
actual
anybody
song.
mention Breakfast at Tiffany's, anything, I remember you and I watching that back at Shaw, and I was laughing, and you were really laughing. That was like that hit all the notes for you.
Oh man, it's so good.
It is so good. Yeah, I remember us.
It's about a couple. It's like the song, but it's about the couple arguing about how they bonded about Breakfast at Tiffany's, and the guy's like, "Yeah, well, Mickey Rooney was kind of racist in it," and she's like, "Yeah, it wasn't that bad." And he's like, "Well, you're a horrible person," and then they end up breaking up. All to the song of Breakfast at Tiffany's. It's fucking brilliant.
It is great.
And the guy in that video went on to
I wasn't throwing shade at you for finding it funny. It's just like really the first time I can remember you like laughing super hard at something, and I was like, this guy's awesome.
Well, it takes a lot to excite me, but it's stuff like that. But the guy in that video, he went on to create BoJack Horseman.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow. Imagine pitching season 1 of BoJack Horseman and Netflix being so excited. Then imagine Netflix's reaction once they started getting like season 3 and 4 of what they were actually getting.
Right.
I never finished it. I don't know, man. I'm never in the right mood for that.
Yeah, it's my buddy Andrew like swears by it. And he's like, "How have you not finished it? It's so good." And it's like, it's one of those shows that's like, I don't know, man.
It's not
bad.
It's not bad. I don't know. Maybe if I was young and single, I'd have more. It's just it's depressing, but it's like a weird depressing. It's like you're never gonna learn anything, or you can't relate depressing, right?
Yeah.
You're just like watching this horrible person be horrible, and I don't know. It's exhausting to me. Wow,
I felt the same. Same.
It's weird, and it's again, it's not bad. It's good, and man, I like depressing stuff. That's my jam. But there's just something about there's just no sympathy with that character.
No.
So you're like, what are we doing? You know,
Yeah.
Like I felt. Did you ever watch Russian Doll?
Yeah, I never finished it either. I
watched season 1 and I kind of hated it. Everybody swears by and they're like, oh, it's so good. I was like, I hate every single character in here.
The only thing that I took away from that was the song that played at the beginning of every episode, or like every time she woke up.
What was it?
I don't remember now.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Catchy song.
But I just remember like not caring if this continues for the rest of their lives or if they die. It was just bad writing.
Yeah, I agree.
Don't fool yourself just because you don't understand stuff. Don't fool yourself into thinking it's good writing. Don't be afraid of looking like an idiot by saying you don't get it, because 9 out of 10 times there's nothing to get. They're just throwing weird stuff at you, so you're like, oh yeah, I totally get it.
Agreed.
It's the it always goes back to the hands in the birdcage for what was that stupid Halle Berry movie that everybody loves? She's making love with Billy Bob Thornton, and they keep cutting to, I think so, and they keep cutting to scenes of hands in a birdcage, and people are just like, yeah. Yeah. Oh, you didn't get that, Curtis? And I'm like, oh, I got it. I'm just not a pretender.
I got it. This movie's
exactly. I got it. You're insecure.
Halle Berry's a shitty actress.
Right. Do you remember when I did that New Year's Eve speech that wasn't allowed to air on Shaw TV?
Yep.
Yeah. I was going off on Halle Berry, talking about how she got her Oscar and started crying that she was like the most important African American woman in the world. And I was like, yeah, that's a stretch. I was like, you know who's better than you, Halle Berry? Aunt Jemima. Aunt Jemima keeps her clothes on.
And
Still
Jemima
proud of
got
that.
canceled, man.
Yeah, she got canceled, but I just made I made pancakes this morning with the box, and I was chuckling to myself because it's the Pearl Mining Company, and then right underneath it says formerly Aunt Jemima.
Oh, it says formerly on it? That's
Yeah,
hilarious. Wow.
she's still with us. Can't
She's in,
cancel
she's in
pancakes,
our hearts. She's in
right?
our
And
hearts.
my tummies, and our tummies.
That's right. So yeah, Hillary and Tony bond over their love of Breakfast at Tiffany's, which is just like the song,
I'm just like us.
right? and and Tony says his favorite part is Audrey Hepburn. Hillary's favorite part is Tiffany's.
It's good.
So they're gonna be late for the movie, and Hillary doesn't want to miss the beginning because it's where they show all the jewelry. So Tony turns on the siren, and suddenly Hillary's down. And I said Allison might not be the only one getting laid tonight.
Yes, he fires up the sirens in his off-duty ambulance and speeds through red lights so this can get to the movie in time. And then she asks if he can park in the handicapped space. And again, I'm like, what? How are we supposed to be feeling about this character? And noted there's exactly 5 minutes left with credits, and we have 2 major storylines to wrap up: Joey and the coach and drunk Allison.
And they do it very quickly.
Yes, Joey and the coach lasts the exact next 60 seconds.
Yeah. So Joey brings his date home. She's running up the stairs wishing Joey luck. Coach Crawford sits him on the couch and starts grilling why he was late. Joey tells him the truth, and the guy flips out.
Yeah, your honesty is
I
refreshing.
just thought the actor played it way over the top, and I wasn't.
Yeah, it's
for
bad.
Blossom, I wasn't into this.
The overacting really hurt this episode. They're starting to slip away from like what the show originally was.
Yeah.
And like the overacting really hurts it.
Yeah, it was just way too animated, I thought.
I feel like the more they do this, the less opportunity to actually like having an episode about a serious issue is going to get away from them.
Right.
And I hope that's not what happens. But, you know, it would be hard to actually like, you know, like I thought like have added like a date rape component lesson to this episode with Allison with just the overacting going on across the board, you know?
Yeah.
Imagine coming out of this coach. Maybe 10 years. One day an old man's going to jump out of the bushes and beat you with a stick. You know, come out of that to like a serious talk about like, you know, sexual abuse. Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. Yeah. So he basically threatens Joey and kicks him out.
Yeah.
And that wraps up that story.
He's like, oh, you're never going to make the team, but you're going to, you know, practice is going to be hell. I'm like, well, why would Joey go to practice?
Well, that's what he said. He was like, why would I be on the team? He's like,
oh,
well, you're not going to make the team, but yeah, the tryout's going to be terrible.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I've been like, well, it was worth it because like your daughter's a nymphomaniac.
Yeah.
So there.
Yeah. So, too many cooks the next morning. Blossom's in the kitchen with Buzz. He's asking about her friend because he's very interested.
Yeah. Yeah, she still passed out.
Yeah. I think the old buzzard might give it a try.
Right. I got a handful of forget-me-nots.
Yeah, so Blossom said she wants to help her. And I was like, so is this going to be like another one like, oh, you have an alcohol problem? Because like they've already dealt with this several times on the show.
Yeah.
With that really annoying friend of Joey's. And I thought that's where it was going with this.
Blossom wants to help her, and Buzz goes, don't help her, just make me an omelet instead.
Yeah. Well, first he gives her a pep talk about how some people are ups and grow out of it, and then some don't, and they die, and then some screw up their entire lives but manage to survive. And he falls into categories 1 and 3. And then he says, now make me an omelet, and then he gets the out.
I'm gonna go give it to Allison again before she wakes up.
Yeah.
Right.
So Allison comes in, she's hungover. Blossom wants to help her. Then Allison says that she met another guy at the party that she was at the previous night, and she's going to use Blossom as her excuse to her parents again.
And Blossom loses her
Yeah, so she refuses. She said she was just trying to help Allison not be a and
wow.
Well, that's pretty much what she was saying.
Yeah, for sure. I have to say, though, love this ending. They really stuck the landing.
No, they didn't. Are you kidding me?
Dude, so they're going down a list of options. She's like, what's wrong with you then, Allison? And the last one is, are you a man trapped in a woman's body, which is also not very 2022 friendly. Right. And she's like, "No, I just got a reputation to keep." And she goes, "This is why people want to hang out with me, Blossom." And Blossom goes, "That's not true." She goes, "Yeah? Why did you invite me to your party then?" Mic drop. Wow. Punch right between the eyes, Blossom. And Blossom goes,
I just thought like the whole moral at the end of the episode was like,
"There was no moral."
well, it kind of was because she was like, I wanted to hang out with you because I thought you were cool. And then Allison's basically just like, well, never meet your heroes, and then leaves.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Roll credits.
Hell yeah. I'm all on board for that. That might have been
All
my
right.
favorite. That might have been my favorite ending to a Blossom ever.
All
Because
right,
she's
man.
like, "Well, I thought you were a lot cooler before I knew you." And Allison goes, "Yeah, never sit in the front row of the ballet. It spoils the illusion." I was like, "Yeah,
And
hell
then literally
yeah."
it's like credits roll.
There's no like applause. There's no audience reaction. It's just silent. I'm like, that must be your place,
Now that I
Blossom,
think about it,
because
was
you
there a
got
laugh
put in it.
track? Was there a laugh track at all in the entire episode?
There was definitely a laugh track. Yeah,
I
people
don't
were laughing.
remember
No,
any point of
I
the
just
audience
noticed the
reacting
silence
to
at the end
Yeah, it was odd, man. I
because
did
there
not
was
like
no
that.
lesson. There was no lesson because
Oh,
you
the
think,
lesson was like, don't meet your heroes, essentially.
but it's like, oh,
Or vice
Allison's
versa.
got there's something gonna be, like her parents are getting a divorce. There's something wrong with her, and she's like, nah, I need to be this person. So sit down, little girl.
All right.
Loved it.
All
Loved
right,
it.
man.
Yeah, man. Just
Uh,
you know,
I was not into that ending at all. I thought it was very abrupt. I thought it was very harsh.
well, maybe you're
Uh,
not. Maybe you're not an Allison, my friend.
Maybe I'm not.
You gotta entertain when you're the clown. You gotta entertain all the time.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
You
All
never
right.
get a day off. Credits.
The
Coach
credit
was.
and the credit scene was really bad too.
Yeah,
It was
let's finish
confusing
with that.
because it was Joey in the car on his date again.
And they're just making out through the
Yeah, but
entire thing.
I thought it was a replay. I thought it was just like an exact like snippet of the scene. It was like, oh, this scene's exactly 30 seconds, and that's what I thought was happening. I thought they were just replaying the scene.
Yeah, and then
But then
there's like an outtake at the very end, which I
yeah, it's
didn't
like
understand.
she couldn't find the pamphlet at the end, and she started cracking up.
Yeah, but they didn't let it play out.
No,
You
it
know what
was
I
odd.
mean? Like they cut it before the characters broke character.
She was like kind of laughing. It was like, oh, I don't.
Yeah,
have...
but they made out for like a minute.
Yeah,
And then at the very end, he was like, "Oh, I forgot to get the pamphlet." And she goes, "I got a whole bunch in my purse." And then she said something to him, and before he could even say anything, it was over. And I was like, "Well, we needed like 10 seconds after that. We could have had 10 seconds less of them making out off the top because clearly they broke character and people yelled cut, and Joey was probably like, "Ooh," and she was like, "I'm sorry, I couldn't find the pamphlet." Like that's the funny part. Maybe they just weren't ready to show behind the curtain that much.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It was, well, they've
1992.
done it before. They did it with like Joey Lawrence's brother was there.
Yeah,
Going through
right.
the woe. Like they've done it before, but like this one was just odd.
Yeah,
I didn't
timing was
understand it.
bad.
And
So the
that's it,
coach
man.
was Edward Winter, who
Yes.
was on MASH.
Yes, that's what I got. He's had a
Yep.
pretty long career, most notably on MASH.
Brooke Teese was
Yes.
Allison,
Allison. She's on 9 episodes of 90210.
known mostly for Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream
That's
Master,
right. I
which is
have
the
that in
best
the
one.
notes, and she was on
Yep.
Just the 10 of Us.
Yeah, she was.
TGIF.
And somehow she was in Catwoman 2004, which tracks because she can't act either.
Right?
Right?
Yep.
Terrible.
The only other one that I have is AJ Lanker was Sherry. She was the date that Joey went on. She
Yep.
looked familiar, and she's been in a lot of shows.
Yep.
I didn't really take anything of note. They're mostly like one-offs. She comes back in season 3 though as Sheila for one
No
episode.
way. Yeah?
She'll be back. She's not in the pit yet.
She was the quirky friend from My So-Called Life, which you probably never knew about or heard of.
Yeah. What's her name? Claire Danes.
Yeah, and
and
what's
Jared
his
Leto.
face? Jared
Yeah.
Leto. Okay, cool. Yeah, that was a weird show, man.
It was. It was kind of like Degrassi, kind of.
But way better. It had like one of the first ever like openly gay characters.
Yeah,
and, like
that's right.
everybody
Yeah.
loved it, and it just got canned after one season.
Was that a Nickelodeon show? What was that on?
I can't remember. They played it on. I saw it in like syndication.
Yeah, so did
So I saw it like 2 years after it aired the first time, and I was like, "Holy crap! This is like a progressive show." Like they're,
Yeah. I used to
They've
watch
got-
it. I watched it when it was like in reruns.
Yeah, it just felt like you were watching the
Maybe
future.
that's what I recognized her from, actually. Now that I think about it, because she did look familiar. We
Yeah.
mentioned earlier Karen Parsons played Hillary.
Yep. Susan Megan McGinnis, or Susan was Megan McGinnis, who
I
is
didn't
the
take
American
note.
Broadway actress. And she was in Beauty and the Beast.
Good for her.
Yeah. Karen was Hillary. And yeah, it ends with a weird outtake.
That's it, man. That's episode 19. Wake Up Little Suzy.
Uneven. There were parts I really, really hated. Like the intro was one of the parts I've hated about any episode so far. And the ending was probably one of my favorite endings.
Okay. It had some stuff in there that was worthwhile, but overall I thought it was a mid episode.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Nothing groundbreaking there.
Yeah.
But we're back, man. We're back with
There
Blossom.
were more ups and downs than a wedding night. You can have that one.
All right.
All right.
Next is season 2, episode 20. You must remember this. You must remember this.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought that was like an abridged to the title. That's what it's called. You must remember this.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't have.
I thought it was like a moment we had where we talked about this one. But no, you
Yeah.
must remember this. Okay.
We're back, dude. We're back.
Don't know.